Prince William has once again found himself in the global spotlight, but this time not for royal politics or official announcements. Instead, for a deeply emotional and symbolic gesture. During his recent visit to Brazil, Prince William recreated one of Princess Diana's most iconic photos, taken 34 years ago at the world-famous Christ the Redeemer statue in Rio de Janeiro. The moment has since gone viral, stirring hearts across continents and reminding the world of the late princess's timeless influence. Standing at the summit of Corcovado Mountain, overlooking the sweeping views of Guanabara Bay, William's presence was quietly powerful. Dressed in a navy double-breasted blazer with the signature red poppy pinned to his chest, he looked every bit the future king, yet there was something tender and human in his expression. The resemblance to Diana's original 1991 photograph was unmistakable. The same angle, the same iconic backdrop, and even the same air of solemn grace. Only this time, it was her son, no longer the little boy who once walked behind her coffin, but a man, a father, and a global leader in his own right, standing where she once stood. This wasn't a coincidence. This was a moment of quiet homage, one that connected the past and the present, mother and son, legacy and purpose. William's trip to Brazil wasn't just another royal visit. It was part of his 5-day tour for the Earthshot Prize, his ambitious environmental initiative that aims to find and fund groundbreaking solutions to the planet's most pressing problems. But amidst all the meetings, environmental panels, and diplomatic engagements, he made time to retrace his mother's steps, and in doing so, reminded the world why Diana's spirit remains an inseparable part of his journey. For those who remember, Diana's 1991 visit to Brazil was a defining chapter in her royal career. She had arrived with then Prince Charles for a 6-day tour, visiting hospitals, orphanages, and AIDS wards, a groundbreaking move at the time. The late princess, wearing a simple white suit and pearls, had stood before the Christ the Redeemer statue, gazing over Rio with that familiar mixture of dignity and melancholy. The image became one of her most beloved, a symbol of compassion, humanity, and quiet strength. It marked the beginning of a new Diana, one who was stepping away from the constraints of royal life and toward her destiny as the people's princess. Now, 34 years later, her eldest son found himself in the same place, carrying not only her legacy, but the weight of his own role in a rapidly changing world. Witnesses say William appeared reflective during his time at the site, spending several minutes looking out over the city before turning toward the cameras. It was as if time folded in on itself, Diana's memory and William's reality merging into one poignant moment. The public reaction to this gesture has been enormous. Across Brazil, people who still remember Diana's visit flooded social media with memories, photos, and emotional tributes. Many recalled how she brought warmth and compassion to the country during her 1991 tour, visiting children's hospitals and bringing international attention to the AIDS crisis. Locals described her as a light, and William's act of remembrance as a beautiful full-circle moment. On social media, fans called it the most emotional royal photo of the year, and others remarked how Diana would have been so proud of the man her son has become. But there's more to this than nostalgia. William's visit is a reflection of how he has chosen to shape his royal identity by balancing duty with emotion and tradition with progress. His trip to Brazil wasn't just about symbolism, it was also about action. As founder of the Earthshot Prize, he came to Latin America to highlight environmental innovation and global cooperation. He met with young activists, indigenous leaders, and entrepreneurs working on climate solutions. He played football with local children, tried his hand at beach volleyball on Copacabana Beach, and attended events aimed at uniting communities around sustainability. Yet even amid this busy schedule, he made sure to take a moment to honor his mother, a woman whose empathy and vision continue to guide his approach to leadership. Observers say the recreation of the photo was unplanned but deeply intentional. Sources close to the royal household suggest that William wanted to feel connected to her energy and acknowledge the profound role she played in shaping his worldview. After all, Diana was one of the first royals to use her platform to speak about global issues, from landmines to HIV awareness, and William has carried that torch forward through his own causes: mental health advocacy, homelessness awareness, and of course, environmental conservation. It's not the first time William has subtly paid tribute to Diana. Over the years, we've seen him weave her memory into the most personal moments of his life, naming Princess Charlotte after her, speaking about her in interviews with quiet emotion, and often visiting the places that were meaningful to her. But this visit to Brazil feels different. It's not just about personal remembrance, it's about public continuity, a reminder that Diana's influence still echoes in the global causes William now champions. For Brazil, the visit was significant too. The people of Rio still remember Diana's warmth. Back in 1991, she danced with children, visited hospitals, and was seen hugging AIDS patients at a time when such gestures were rare and stigmatized. Her compassion transcended culture and class, and it left an indelible mark on those who met her. Seeing her son return, not just as a royal, but as a man carrying her humanitarian flame, touched a deep emotional chord. During his visit, William reportedly said, "I think about my mother often, especially when I'm meeting people whose lives are dedicated to helping others. That was her spirit. That's what I hope to continue." Those words encapsulate why this moment resonates so strongly. It's not just about a photograph, it's about inheritance, not of wealth or title, but of values, empathy, and legacy. The imagery from this trip has flooded global media. William standing tall before Christ the Redeemer, a faint smile beneath the solemn sky, his poppy pin catching the light. The echoes of Diana's original photo are undeniable. Even the media noted the similarities. Both royals dressed elegantly but simply, both standing against the same breathtaking view of Rio's coastline, both projecting a quiet strength that transcends royal formality. It's a visual narrative of lineage, loss, and love, one that binds mother and son across generations. Some royal commentators have even suggested that this was one of William's most emotionally charged appearances in years. Unlike the polished, distant royal image of the past, this was deeply human, a prince standing not just as a representative of the crown, but as a son honoring his mother's memory. Fans around the world have praised the move as the most touching tribute yet, and even skeptics of the monarchy have admitted that this moment reminded them of why Diana remains such a powerful cultural figure. It's also interesting to note that William's trip to Brazil marks a significant step for the Earthshot Prize, which was held in Latin America for the first time this year. His choice to visit Rio, a city that embodies both natural beauty and environmental challenges, was no accident. The themes of preservation, climate action, and renewal run deep throughout his tour. In many ways, his homage to Diana parallels his environmental mission. Both are about protecting what's precious, whether it's the planet or the memory of someone who changed the world through compassion. Throughout the visit, William appeared relaxed, approachable, and genuinely engaged, a reflection of the leadership style he's increasingly adopting. While his brother Prince Harry often honors Diana through more outspoken advocacy, William's approach is quieter, more symbolic, but no less heartfelt. The image from Christ the Redeemer speaks volumes without a single word. It's a statement of heritage and hope, one that reminds the world that even as the monarchy modernizes, its emotional heart still beats strong. Royal watchers have pointed out that these kinds of gestures are shaping William's public image as the future king. He's redefining what it means to be royal in the 21st century, using memory not as nostalgia, but as motivation. In every cause he supports and every step he takes, there's a trace of Diana's empathy, blended with his own sense of purpose. And as he stood under the shadow of the great statue overlooking Rio, one could almost imagine that somewhere Diana was watching too, proud, smiling, and perhaps even a little teary-eyed. In the days following the visit, global news outlets have been filled with side-by-side comparisons of the two photos, Diana in 1991 and William in 2025, and it's hard not to feel moved. It's a full-circle moment, a living reminder that while time passes and generations change, love, legacy, and compassion never fade. The son has grown into the kind of man his mother always hoped he would be, someone who leads with both head and heart.
In many ways, William's tribute in Brazil wasn't just about looking back, it was about looking forward. As the heir to the British throne, he's preparing for a future where the monarchy must evolve, engage, and stay relevant to people's lives. Honoring Diana in this way reminds the world that empathy and leadership can coexist, and that even amid royal duties, humanity must never be lost. Prince William's recreation of that iconic photo will surely go down as one of the most memorable royal moments of the decade, a snapshot of love, memory, and legacy set against the breathtaking backdrop of Rio. It's not just history repeating itself, it's history continuing. And for millions of people who still cherish the memory of Princess Diana, this was a moment that healed, inspired, and connected the past to the future in the most beautiful way possible. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.